Uh, shall I start, Tayeba? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Today we are going to discuss further about the Z transforms, but this is a sub concept in the Z transforms. Till now, we have seen how to calculate the Z transform x of Z. Okay. In the from the basics, if I just recall, we have seen how the formula of Z transform is. Then what is ROC? Then with few basic problems given, we have found out the Z transforms. Then we have checked how to the condition for ROC and how to draw the ROC on the Z plane. Then we have listed few properties of ROC. Then properties of Z transform, some 10 properties we have listed, and a few of those properties we have applied in few further problems. So this much was all dealt in the first part of this topic, that is Z transforms, wherein given x of n sequence will be there and you have found out x of Z. Now the second part, which comes in reverse, where x of Z will be given to you, we need to get the original sequence back. Okay, so let us see how we have to follow this. Before going further, I just want to discuss some theory about this. With this background theory, we can go for the problems directly. There are two methods to find the inverse Z transforms. The first one is partial fraction method, and the second one is power series expansion method. Partial fractions, this part already you have studied in your mathematics. Okay, basics of mathematics. Partial fractions from probably long back you have studied, but let us recall those things. We will see how this concept of partial fractions will be used here to find the original sequence x of n. And the second method is power series expansion. As the name suggests, it is a series like cos, sine, log, something exponential. So for such kind of series, how to get the inverse Z transform. So first, let us deal with the partial fraction method. Before going further with the problems, let us discuss the theory about this. If assume that we have Z transform x of Z, which is of the form b by a. What do you mean by this? B by a. Uh, if you remember, in few of the previous problems, when x of n was given to you, we have calculated x of Z, and some x of Z, if you remember, they were like this: 1 by 1 minus Z inverse, or 1 by 1 minus half Z inverse, or 8 divided by something like this, some numerator divided by denominator. So we are assuming x of Z, it is of this form, a ratio, means it has some numerator, it has some denominator, the meaning of that statement. If we assume that it is in the form of a ratio, and generally b is given by like this, summation b k Z raised to minus k. It means it has a series like this. Okay, sum like this. For example, 1 minus 1 plus 2Z inverse, something like this in the numerator, and denominator 1 plus 5Z inverse plus 4Z raised to minus 2, something like this. So numerator has Z power, denominator also has Z power, and that generally we can show like this, summation. If we assume both are represented in this form, and if we expand both, just go on putting k values from 0 to m and 0 to n, you will get this expanded sum. And remember here, denominator, we don't have a naught term. A naught is equal to 1, because if you remember, whenever we have got x of Z in previous problems, it was something like that, 1 plus or 1 minus. So denominator has 1 term. So just to make it similar, we have taken a naught is equal to 1. So if this is the case, if x of Z is of this ratio form, then depending on the power of this Z at both numerator and denominator, we will have certain conditions to apply the partial fractions. The first condition is, if the numerator power is less than the denominator, means like this, 1 plus 2z inverse. So the power is 1. Here 1 plus 2z raised to minus 1 plus 5z raised to minus 2. Suppose this is your x of z. If you see numerator has the power 1, that is m is equal to 1, and denominator has the power 2. So this is the first condition where numerator power is less than the denominator. If x of z is somewhat like this, the ratio form where the numerator power is less than the denominator power, that time we have to go for partial fraction expansion directly by factorizing the denominator. So why to factorize, how to factorize, that we will come across when we solve the problems. But just remember that if this condition gets satisfied, we have to directly go for partial fractions and denominator should be factorized. Now the second condition, obviously less than is over. So what is the second condition remaining? Either greater or equal. So suppose that second condition exists. Suppose you have x of z, which is say 1 plus 2z inverse divided by 1 minus 5z inverse, something like this. Both powers are equal, 1 1. Or this is say square and 1. Numerator power is 2, denominator power is 1. So in both the cases, second condition applies. That time we have to go for long division method application, and we have to modify the given x of z, and then we have to go for partial fractions. So remember these two conditions, and what is long division you will come across when we solve the problems. So these two conditions are important. When numerator power is less, what should be done? When numerator power is greater or equal, what should be done? So with these two conditions as the basics for partial fractions, let us move to the first problem. We will solve the problem. You'll understand this. The concept gets more clear. Okay. Now the first question is, find the sequence x of n which has the z transform x of z given by, this is the given question, x of z is equal to minus 1 plus 5z inverse divided by some denominator term is there. And this is the given condition as well. ROC is greater than 1. Okay. As I told you, in inverse z transforms, x of z will be given to you. We need to find x of n. Okay. Let us go further. We will go for partial fraction method. Now, to apply the partial fraction method, obviously what should be done? First, we should go for checking these two conditions. Which condition? These two conditions, based on this, which step to be followed next. For that, we have to check for the numerator and the denominator powers. Fine. What observation we can make? Numerator has the power 1, denominator has the power 2, that minus 1 minus 2. Okay. So numerator power is less than the denominator. So the first condition is getting applied. It means we should go for partial fractions and denominator should be factorized. Okay. Factorizing means what? You have to find the roots of that particular equation, which the denominator, in which the denominator it's been given. After getting the factors, you will get two brackets. Okay. So that is called factorization. You know this already. A plus bx plus c square, something like that, right? For any quadratic equation, you find the roots and you find the factors also. So just like that, as first condition is getting satisfied here, we can directly go for partial fractions. So denominator should be factorized. So this is the observation, numerator and denominator, and the first condition is getting applied. So the denominator is 1 minus 3 by 2 z inverse plus half z raised to minus 2. So what should be done? Denominator should be factorized. So how to get this factorized values? You can find the roots of this equation, because it is second order equation. Okay. For any quadratic equation, you can find the roots. You can use your calculators. You will get the values directly, or If you don't want to use the calculator, here is one way where I have solved it, how to get the roots. We will go through that. Okay, just see here. This is your given question. What I have done, take the LCM first. If you take the LCM, 2 is your LCM that has been put. Then multiply it by 1. So first term will become 2 minus 3 plus 1. What is this A? Just not to be in confusion, Z inverse, what I have done, I have substituted Z inverse as some variable A. After that, at last, when I find the roots, I will again, use instead of A, Z inverse. I'll put that. But just for my ease, just to look that, to see that equation in a familiar form, I have just replaced Z inverse by A. Okay, or you can take it X. I think the X is more familiar term to you. So instead of A, you can take X also. Then it will become 2 minus 3x plus x square. So it is one quadratic equation. Now if I take the LCM and this is the case, now what I have done, just rearrangement. Okay, higher order has been taken to the first term, then middle and the last. Okay, just in a high to low order. A square, first is a square, then minus 3a, then plus 2. That I have put it here. After that, now what to do to find the roots? You know this already. You have done this in your primary levels. This is your equation. What to be done? You should get, if you multiply it, you should get 2 into 1. 2 into 1 equal to 2. If you add, you should get minus 3. How to do that? I think minus 2 and minus 1. If you do, 2 ones are 2 and minus 2 minus 1 will be minus 3. Right? So with that, your values will be a square as it is. First term is a square as it is. Then as the factorized values are minus 2 and minus 1, I have written minus 2a and minus a. If you add both, you should get minus 3a. If you multiply, you should get 2. And plus 2 has been kept as it is. Then take first two terms. In the first two terms, take a common, you will be left with a minus 2 minus 1 common, a minus 2. I think no need to explain this. You have already done this. Then this is your common term. Put it as a minus 2 as one bracket and remaining a minus 1 as your second bracket. So these are the two factors we got, a minus 2 and a minus 1. Remember, denominator is still there, divided by 2. So till this, I hope you have understood. So after this, what I'll do, as I had put Z inverse is equal to A, I will put that back, okay, to the original form. I will be having like this. Z inverse minus 1 as the one term, this one. And then second one is Z inverse minus 2 divided by 2. Now I want to remove this 2. And if you remember, all your brackets, when you calculated x of z, they were of the form 1 minus or 1 plus. So 1 should be there. So here it is 2. So just try to remove 2. How will you remove 2? Just take 2 common. First bracket, don't touch it. Instead of putting z inverse minus 1, I will take minus common. First bracket will be 1 minus z inverse. Just reverse, okay? Because we want 1 minus kind of bracket. And this is over first term. Now in the second term, what I'll do, I'll take minus 2 common. If I take that, this will become 1. And as minus is common, minus Z inverse, and since there is no 2 term here, divided by 2. So that 2 gets cancelled. Again we will get the terms back. So I hope you understood this. After these two, what I have done, minus is taken common, and this is the thing. Then 2 gets cancelled, minus into minus becomes plus. So your first factor is 1 minus Z inverse, and second factor is 1 minus half Z inverse. So these are the two factors we got for the denominator. So this is the meaning of your statement. This is the meaning of the statement. Factorize the denominator, use the partial fraction. So we have factorized and we have got two brackets. And in the next slide, you will come to know what are those two brackets. Okay, these are the two brackets we got. 1 minus Z inverse, 1 minus half Z inverse. Now what to do? We have to continue with the partial. In order to uh, I'll just recall. Okay, I'll recall this step so that you'll remember your partial fraction method, which you have used already in mathematics. So this is your x of z. This is given. What is the change? Denominator I have written in factorized form, which just now we have got. Okay, this is equal to a divided by 1 bracket plus b divided by 1 more bracket. Two factors are there, so that's why a divided by something plus b divided. If assume we have one more bracket at the denominator, we would have used plus c divided by that bracket. So number of factors equal to number of unknowns. Okay, then if this is the case, now what to do? LHS is this. This is your RHS. In partial fractions, what we do, LHS should be made equal to only numerator. This denominator term should go. That's why for that what we do, we will simply multiply this term, whatever denominator is there, that to both LHS and RHS, so that this total term will vanish. This is the step to be followed. Okay? In partial fractions, we do this. In order to make the LHS term, only numerator part, denominator part should be vanished. For that, we will multiply on both sides, LHS and RHS, by this denominator. If we do that, see, this is your x of z. Okay, it is multiplied by this denominator term at the LHS, and even at the RHS also. Okay. Even at the RHS, if you see, a divided by this is the same term, and it is multiplied by this complete two brackets, and b divided by something, it is multiplied by two brackets. So both LHS and RHS should be multiplied by this factor. Why only this factor? Because this is your denominator. You need to vanish that denominator. So if you do that, see here, this will cancel, this will cancel. So denominator will go. Only numerator will be left, and a and one bracket will go here. Here also same term one will go. You will be left with this much. A of one bracket plus b of one more bracket. Now the next step is we need to find a and b values. So if you have a single equation with both the unknowns, you can't solve it. So to solve, you should make any one value 0. So just by trial and error method, what we will do, we will try to substitute z inverse as 1. If you put z inverse as 1, b into 1 minus 1, b will go 0. So we will be left with only a, and we can find a. So just as a trial and error, since single equation is, remember, whenever you have, assume if you have two different variables, two unknown values, then you need two equations. Then only simultaneous equations you can solve and get the answer. And if you have three different unknowns, you need three equations to solve it. So, but here if you see, there is only single equation, a plus b equal to something. you can't solve, you can't find the unknowns like this. For that we are putting with the trial and error, keeping one variable 0 so that other can be found out. So substituting z inverse is equal to 1, this will go, we are left with only this part. So what will be that? Minus 1 plus 5 into 1 is equal to a into bracket 1 minus half into 1, because z inverse we are putting 1, and this will go 1 minus 1 0, b will not be there, so a is equal to 8 you got. Similarly, this is one time we have put z inverse is equal to 1, we got a. Next time what we will do, in the same equation we will use one more time the same equation. This time we will make a 0 so that we can find b. How to make a 0? What is a? A bracket 1 minus half z inverse. How this can be 0? A into bracket 1 minus half. What should be this value? Z inverse value. If you make this equal to 2, 2 cancels. A into 1 minus 1 you will get. Right? So if this is the case, then a will go 0. That's why we are substituting z inverse as 2 for the next case. Using the same equation, substitute z inverse is equal to 2, you will get minus 1 plus 5 into 2 is equal to, a will go 0, plus b into bracket 1 minus z inverse is 2. Just solve it, minus 1 plus 10, a is 0, b into minus 1, or 9 is equal to minus b is equal to minus 9. So we have found out two different values, a is equal to 8, b is equal to minus 9. Once we calculate both the values, what we will do, we will go for substitution. We have started with this, x of z is equal to this a divided by something plus b divided by. Just now we have got a and b values. Substitute those a and b values, you will get x of z is equal to 8 divided by 1 minus z inverse minus or plus of minus 9 divided by 1 minus half z inverse. Actually, till this, I hope you have understood how to use the partial fractions. First, we went for denominator factorization. After getting the factors, then we went for partial fractions. We found a and b values, and we have got x of z in this form. Now, uh, actually, we need to find x of n, because x of z is given to you, we are going for inverse z transforms. Fine. X of z, till this we haven't touched x of z, we have just modified using partial fractions. Now the original part, actual part comes where we need to go for finding x of n. So in order to find x of n, just see here what is given in the question. If you see, the question has ROC. ROC that is greater than 1. What do you mean by ROC greater than 1? If you remember, we have listed few properties of ROC earlier. According to those properties, I think some third to fourth property, uh, if ROC is greater than 1, that is outside the circle. ROC is outside the circle. We have shaded the outermost part of the circle. It means that the sequence or the signal x of n is right-handed sequence. This was one property we have listed in ROC properties. So as the given ROC is greater than 1, we can conclude that the given sequence x of n is a right-handed sequence, because ROC is greater than 1. As that is the case, ROC is greater than 1, your signal x of n, the sequence x of n is right-handed signal. Right-handed means what? This is 0, infinity, minus infinity. Here the signal lies, x of n, right-handed. If it was left-handed, signal lies here. And remember, whenever you are using, even in previous problems, when we went for x of z calculation, whenever right-handed signal was there, you have multiplied with u of n. That's why summation was from 0 to infinity. And when the sequence is left-handed, you have multiplied with minus u minus n minus 1. Okay, these two are very important things. If signal is right-handed, multiply it with u of n. Signal is left-handed, multiply it with u of minus n minus 1. Okay, so according to the given ROC condition, the as the ROC is outside the circle, the sequence or the signal x of n is right hand sided signal. So with that, what will be your x of n? So x of z will be equal to, if inverse z transform will be x of n. 8 is kept as it is. Now, what is this 1 by 1 minus z inverse? It is u of n. If you just expand this, I'll do. Okay, this is say 1 into z raised to minus 1, something like that. So 1 alpha is 1, alpha raised to n u of n, or u of n. That's why the first term is 8 into u of n. And what about the second value? If you apply the inverse, minus 9 is kept as it is. Now, what is remaining? 1 by 1 minus half z inverse. What do you mean by this? Half, it is alpha raised to n u of n. What is alpha? Half raised to n. That's why the second term is half raised to n u of n. Remember why we are using u of n? Because it is given that ROC is greater than 1. The signal or the sequence is right-handed. So we are multiplying it with u of n. So this is how from x of z we have calculated, we have got the original sequence x of n. So this is the first problem based on the inverse z transform. So I hope this is clear to you. Let us go for one more problem. It is again very simple problem of similar kind. Let us solve it. This is your x of z given, and in this question they have not specified ROC. So we will assume that ROC is greater than 1, and keeping that in mind, at the end we will decide. Okay, so let us follow the steps. What is the first step? In order to apply the partial fractions, check for the numerator and denominator powers, whether they are less or equal or greater. So if you observe, numerator power is less than the denominator. M is less than n. So obviously first condition applies. So you have to go for partial fractions. Denominator should be factor. What is denominator? 1 minus 5 by 2 z inverse plus z raised to minus 2. You can use your calculator, find the roots and find the factors, or you can use this. You can follow this method. Now let us see how I have solved it. This is your given question. Again, just to be familiar with the terms, I have replaced z inverse by some variable a. You can use x also. Okay. So with that, take the LCM and replace z inverse by a. So I have taken the LCM. 2 minus 5z inverse plus 2z inverse, because here also, here also. Okay. Both multiplied by 2. A, taking the LCM and replacing z inverse by a. Then numerator order, I have written higher order first. 2a square minus 5a plus 2. Now how to factorize this? Here it is 2, here it is 2. Okay, here it is 2 and here also it is 2. So it is 2 into 2, 4. If you multiply, you should get 4. If you add, you should get minus 5. So I think 4 means 4 ones are 4 and both minus, so that if you add, you will get minus 5. So I think with this, what we have to do, first term 2a square, second term is minus 4a, then minus a, then plus 2. After that, take in these first two terms 2a common, you will remain with a minus 2. Then in these two brackets, take minus 1 common. Then these two are the two brackets which we get, 2a minus 1 and a minus 2. And again, as I told you, we are very much familiar with x of z, which had 1 minus something. So if you check the numerator, it has a minus 2. So just remove 2 term there. To remove 2, what you have to do? Just take 2 outside. That is 2 common. So what the first bracket is as it is. Second bracket, if you take 2 common, it will be a has no 2. So just divided by 2 minus 1. And 2 gets cancelled, denominator term. And you will be left with 2a minus 1 and 1 minus a by 2. And here I have written 1 minus, it is 2a minus. Just minus 1 is taken common. Okay, just a rearrangement. 2a minus 1 is equal to minus of 1 minus 2a. Okay, this minus. Similarly, for second bracket also, take minus common. You will get 1 minus a by 2. So these minus minus becomes plus. So these are the two brackets you get. Okay, these are the two brackets. Now I have again put a as z inverse. So these are the two factors you got. With these two factors, this will be your x of z, which is actually this given. Denominator is factorized. A divided by one bracket and b divided by one more bracket. And there is no compulsion here that these two are the brackets. A should be only with this. You can use A divided by this bracket and then B divided by the other bracket also. Okay, there is no compulsion. It is up to you. You can use A divided by this bracket plus B divided by this bracket also. Okay. Now going for partial fractions. What is the condition for partial fractions? At the LHS only you should get numerator. You should not get denominator. For that complete denominator you multiply on both sides, LHS and RHS. Then those terms cancels. You will be left with only numerator, which is equal to a divided by this much into the complete multiplication, b divided by 1 minus 2z inverse into complete multiplication, two factors. Then you will be left with here only numerator term, no denominator term. You will be left with only numerator and a into and b into. Similarly, what we have to do, we have single equation and we have two different variables a and b. So to calculate a and b, put make any one variable 0 so that other variable can be calculated. So for that, trial and error you use. First term, what I'm doing, I'm making b is equal to not b. I'm making a is equal to 0 in the first condition. How to make a 0? A has this bracket 1 minus 2z inverse 1 minus 2. What value should we put here so that this becomes 1 minus 1? Here it is 2. If you take here 2, 2 cancels, you will get this. So you should put z inverse as half. So if you put z inverse is equal to half, if you put that 1 minus 2 into z inverse is half, a will become 0, b 1 minus half into half. Then this will be 0 is equal to b into something, or you got b as 0 completely. So one value one value b you got it 0. Now in the first slot we made a equal to 0, we got b 0. In the second slot we will make b 0, we will calculate a. How to make b 0? B is equal to, what is b bracket? 1 minus half z inverse. So what you do, put z inverse is equal to 2 so that this 2 and this 2 gets cancelled, b will become 0. So put z inverse is equal to 2 and solve this, you will get a is equal to 1. So b is 0, a is equal to 1. Put that here. B is 0, so this term will vanish. You will be left with x of z is equal to only a divided by that. A is 1, 1 divided by 1 minus half z inverse. Now, to apply the inverse z transforms, we require ROC condition. But in the given question, if you observe, ROC is not given. So we will assume that ROC is say greater than or some alpha value. So ROC is greater means outside the circle, sequence is right hand sided, that is U of n. Hence, if you see this, it is 1 by 1 minus alpha z inverse, that is alpha raised to n. What is alpha? Half. So x of n will be equal to alpha raised to n u of n. Why u of n? Because we are assuming that the signal is right hand side. So I hope you have understood these two problems of finding the inverse Z transforms using partial fraction expansion method. Remember, in partial fraction expansion, we have two conditions. Depending on the numerator and denominator powers, we will apply whichever condition is satisfied. Both these problems which we have solved today, both have the first condition getting applied, where numerator power is less, denominator power is more. So what we did, we directly factorized the denominator, then we went for partial fractions, and we have found out the inverse Z transform. In the next class, we will see if both the powers are equal or greater, m is greater than n, then we should go for long division method. So that part we will deal in the next class. So I hope this much is clear to you. So thank you so much for attending this class. Thank you so much.